Well, you may know the name Mellencamp, and yes, I've talked to her dad, John, many times, but this is our first time having Teddi Mellencamp from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on the show. Welcome to the KJ Today Show, your place for the positive vibes of pop culture, people to know, and pets. Oh, hello, Teddi.
Hi, how are you guys?
You know what? It's a beautiful day here in Indianapolis, and excited to talk with you, of course, Teddi, because let's see. I'm not originally from here, but I've been in Indy and radio and TV and all that for 25 years. So, of course, I have run across your father several times, and always a polite man, but never seemed like he really wanted to, have too much of his personal life out there. So I gotta ask, how was it when you decided, this is what I'm going to do, Dad, and I'm going to be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and my life's going to be out there?
He was like, oh man, Teddy. But then he was like, as long as you're authentic to who you are, I'm fine with it. He's like, but don't be asking me to do
it. Oh, that sounds about right. So Two T's in a Pod is the podcast, and would love to get your perspective, because I know I think often when we're watching these reality shows, there's always this feeling that there's like more to it and we're not seeing completely what really happened. So how has it been for you going back and watching the show? Are there things that were cut out, or things you want us to know that were different for you?
The cool thing about Two T's in a Pod, if you are a Bravo watcher, you watch any of the Real Housewives, you watch it like you watch like somebody may watch a sports game. Like you're the professional. But with me and Tamra, we actually were on the or she's currently on the show. I was on the show. So when we're recapping from an insider's view. So we are giving you the ins and outs of filming, of what happens behind the scenes, what happens in front of the camera, and just kind of giving our, no nonsense opinions. And I mean, that's truly what it is, like an opinion. But that being said, it brings a lot of heat and excitement and change to whatever show it is that you're watching. So currently right now we're recapping Real Housewives of New York, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Crappy Lake, and Real Housewives of Orange County. So we are busy. We are number one pod in TV and movies. So we are so excited to be doing it.
And did this come out of, it does seem like you and Tamra have a pretty strong friendship. Was it a conversation of like, hey, we're friends, we love watching this, let's make it a podcast?
No, we actually didn't even watch. At the time, we were both no longer on the show, and I was working with iHeartRadio, and they came up to me and they said, Teddi, will you recap these housewife shows? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then I just was like, well, what about if I have a co-host? And they were like, well, who? And I said, Tamra Judge. She's super fun and over the top and always speaks her mind. And if I could do it with her, we could make it really fun. And they were like, all right, well, let's reach out to her. And, she signed on the dotted line, and the rest is history.
So I want to talk a little bit about, because with this show, we're always, we focus on three things: pop culture, people to know, and pets. And I know that you're a huge pet lover. And you also, you grew up with horses, and it does seem like you're, as a mother, you are passing that love along.
Yeah, we are obsessed. So pets, we love our horses. My daughter and I both ride. I always say that riding horses, kept me in check as a kid. When all of my friends wanted to go to parties or do certain things, like I was like, no, I have a horse show, and it helped me stay focused. And I also just the love of the horse and the connection that you have with the horse. I'm so happy that my daughter brought me back into riding, and we can do it together. And it's really one of those things that I look forward to whenever we get to do it.
It was interesting that we were going to talk today because I literally yesterday, you know how you're in the car and sometimes your mind clears enough that you just have this like I should be doing this, and I grew up with horses as well and haven't connected with them, and I was like I need to figure out. You know, I'm in Indiana. We've got plenty of horses here. I need to figure out how to get reconnected with that, because you're right. There's just something. It's an interesting bond. Is it? Have you ever? You know, I'm sure you have. But is there a particular horse that you really felt like we are one and the same?
You know, I think for me, I've always loved a challenge, and I love horses that are particular. I think they're the most talented when they've got, you know, when you can feel what they're feeling. And so, you know, growing up, I rode a horse named What Goes Around that I really loved, and I'm currently riding one named Totally that kind of has the same vibe. I love when they're powerful and strong, but you can tell that they're connected to you. It gives you that special feeling like you're one. And that's definitely my favorite. And, you know, I'm also an accountability coach, so I can hold you accountable to making sure you reconnect with horses, because I can promise you, you will feel like you've stepped away from your life. Like in that moment, you're like, wow, okay, this is what it's all about.
I love this. Yes, please hold me accountable, because it really was. It was just this moment where it's like, why am I not still with horses? I mean, I have cats. I do rescue work. I do everything, but it's you know, I think some of it is you have to be intentional, right? You have to go. You have to bond. Like it's not. You know, I don't want to just go like ride a horse somewhere. I want to like have a horse connection.
Yeah, you don't want to be well, that's kind of like anything, right? With work, with life, you don't want to be half in. You want to be all in on whatever you do. So once you're ready, then you'll do it. And then you'll be like, why did I not do this for so long? Because that's exactly how I was.
But and you mentioned you're an accountability coach. I did have you know, I was like, do we have any questions for you know, Teddy today? I did have Courtney, who said, you know, I am an entrepreneur. I have a gazillion passions. Could you ask her, because she seems the same, how she stays focused and does all of these different amazing things?
Thank you so much first for saying that. But I think people so oftentimes talk about balance and, you know, they just balance. And that's not me. I am completely the opposite. And I tell my family and everyone in my life, when I'm really passionate about something, where I'm really into it, you know, there's going to be some days where I am just avidly working, and I'm, you know, but the next day that I'm going to dedicate more time to this, and that. But I think that the first and most important thing is, when it comes to business, is that you believe in what you're doing. If you believe in what you're doing, then it doesn't matter other people's opinions. You're going to make mistakes, but you can't be looking for validation for others. It has to be about you, what you believe in, and just keep fighting and keep knowing that if you believe in it and it works, then you'll make something of it. But if the second that you start second guessing yourself or going to other people and should I do this or do you like this idea? No, you just have to have grit and go for it, and know that there's going to be highs and lows in every business. And at the end of the day, if you work hard, you will succeed.
Thank you, Teddy, for inspiring us this morning and for spending time with us. Two T's in a Pod is the podcast, and it is so fun to follow along with you. Congratulations on all of your success. And, you know, if you do make a trip back to Indiana, we'd always love to have you in studio and continue to cheer you on as a fellow Hoosier and a woman out there doing great things.
Well, thank you so much. I'm sure I'll be back there around the holidays. I'm always up in Bloomington. We go to Yonkos, I feel like, every single time. So
nice.
That's our family restaurant. So yeah, I'm sure I'll be back, and I would love to meet you guys in person.
Absolutely. All right, Teddy, have a great morning. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for another celebrity interview. Of course, the KJ Today Show isn't just about talking to celebs, it's about hanging out with you. Join us live on Wednesday nights for pop culture, people to know, and pets. The KJ Today Show on YouTube. Subscribe and watch live Wednesday nights at 7.